Hello, racing fans. This is NASCAR Racing Fan 2015, back with another NASCAR review. And this one is on Subway leaving Daniel Suarez unexpectedly. As it was announced on Saturday, they would terminate the contract. They won't even sponsor him in the Talladega race. They were scheduled for one more race. They will not be sponsoring Suarez in that event. So pretty much, let's go over Subway's history. They start with Greg Biffle in 2005 and then 2006, 2007. They do really well. I mean, Greg Biffle almost won them the championship in 2005. I'm sure they probably won a couple races with Greg Biffle. And it was a fairly good partnership. Greg Biffle was a good person, very successful. And the commercial with Greg Biffle, like he's eating a Subway sandwich and then he has two sandwiches. They're like cars, and like he throws one of the sandwiches. I mean, that was kind of funny. That was when NASCAR commercials were actually good, not the pandering garbage that we see nowadays. Like, I might have to do a whole rant on every commercial. I have almost all the ones from 2017 memorized. They're all. I might do that one time. I'll just go over all the commercials this year and how all of them annoyed me to death. I'll do that. I might do that if you guys want me to. So, anyways, yeah, pretty good success there. And now, eventually, in 2008, they moved to Joe Gibbs Racing with Tony Stewart, and now. That was a very weird partnership with Tony Stewart, because Tony Stewart, you don't see him as the fit guy who works out and eats a sub sandwich. He's the kind of guy that gets a cheeseburger, goes to your local bar. He's a tough guy, and you don't see him eating at Subway. I mean, just stereotypes, but I mean, Tony Stewart probably didn't even like the Subway. That was the season that he ran a Toyota and was sponsored by Subway. I'm sure Tony Stewart is probably cringing the whole 2008 season. That's probably why he didn't do very good. But for Subway, they won they won a race with him. I mean, yeah, they didn't win a championship. No, he did awful. Tony Stewart won the Talladega race in 2008 after that controversial finish. So they won a race with him. Yeah, as weird as it sounds. And then in 2009, Tony Stewart leaves for Stewart House Racing. He obviously didn't bring Subway with him and instead picked up a Whopper at Burger King. And so Subway decides to go back to Roush Fenway Racing and Carl Edwards. And Carl Edwards is the perfect spokesperson for Subway. Very fit guy. He does a lot. He of course, backflips off the top of the car. I mean, like I said, very healthy person. I mean, exercises a lot. Nice guy. A good race car driver. He's just a perfect fit for the Subway brand as itself. And Carl Edwards did a good job. He carried Subway well. He won them the 2013 Subway Fresh Fit 500. Yeah, he won the Subway race. That's pretty big whenever a sponsor wins the sponsored race. It's a big accomplishment to prove that you're the best and like you're big into it. And Carl Edwards did that. And then they also, whenever he moved Joe Gibbs Racing, won the 600. And Carl Edwards did his legendary backflips. And I mean, it was pretty good. I mean, Carl Edwards, it was pretty good. He almost won the championship for them. 2011, ironically, they lost to Burger King and Tony Stewart. So Subway lost to their former driver by tiebreaker, but that was still a good year. And then in 2016, he was probably, if the race would have went green, he probably would have been your champion. And then Carl Edwards, instead, 10 laps to go, restart, crashed out, and that was the end of his career. But it was a pretty good tenure with Subway. And so the new driver is Daniel Suarez, as he, from Monterrey, Mexico. That's what Rick Allen says almost every time it's on NBC to talk to the fans that don't really watch NASCAR and tell them there's a Mexico driver. So anyways, I mean, Daniel Suarez hasn't had the greatest year, but I mean, at Daytona, I saw he was up front a lot. There were a couple ads for Subway. And I thought this was a perfect fit for Subway. I've heard they're trying to get bigger in Mexico. And I mean, I heard Coca-Cola, like Subway, are trying to get big in Mexico as well. So it was it was immediate pickup for Subway and Coca-Cola, it seemed like. And I mean, to have the only Mexican driver. I mean, Daniel Suarez probably has tons of fans in Mexico, because I mean, in America, I don't think anyone really cares about Daniel Suarez. But in Mexico, he is like the driver. It's like in baseball, like the Toronto Blue Jays. That's Canada's team. This is Mexico's driver. They all are probably backing Daniel Suarez. He's probably like on the local news if he does really well. I'm sure never won the championship. Maybe it was probably like a documentary or something like that, maybe on Suarez. I don't know, but Suarez is probably the big deal in Mexico. And I thought it was a good move for them. And then I find out it was very crushing. On Saturday, I looked up social media. It's like Subway terminates sponsorship of Daniel Suarez immediately. I'm like, oh, no, what now? Because this year has just been an awful year for sponsorship departures. You know, of course, we had Farmers and Great Clips. We had Dollar General the year before. Oh yeah, we also had Target, like one of the biggest sponsors in NASCAR, pull out because Brian Cornell, you're still the biggest moron I've ever seen run a company. I mean, you look at, like I said, you look at Target and all their garbage pop stupid trend ads that'll easily fade out in the next couple months. That just shows how dumb Target is. And I mean, I guess they didn't want anything to do. They completely made their whole fan base, they made the NASCAR fan base mad. And I don't think anyone really wants to go to Target anymore from the fan base. So they made an entire probably region of America mad at them just because of that. And the worst part, like I said, they moved to soccer. I mean, really? I get, you know, sponsoring a little bit, but it seemed like they pulled all their money from motorsports into soccer, and it makes me mad. Especially the whole thing about, oh, it is an international market, even though Target doesn't have an international market. But anyways, yeah, so my opinion on the Subway decision is that really it was multiple parties' fault. First off, I mean, I think okay, so the reason why Subway pulled out was because Daniel Suarez was in like one of those pre-race thing, that stupid thing with Rutledge Wood, and like I guess they were probably talking about racing, and then they give Dunkin' Donuts to fans. So first off, I think they were like advertising the Dunkin' Donuts. I mean, that's the first thing you don't want to do in marketing, is you don't want to market a product that doesn't give any money to you. I mean, maybe, I don't know, but I just have never seen any Dunkin' Donuts anything with NBC, maybe besides one or two ads maybe during a race. But it just seemed like they're not a sponsor. If it were like Sonic or Carl's Jr. and Hardee's, then I get it. But this is Dunkin' Donuts. I mean, they really don't pay for much advertisements. So I don't get why. I don't get who at NBC thought of, oh yeah, let's just grab a box of donuts from Dunkin' Donuts and just do that. I mean, it would have worked. I think it would have been better if they would have just bought a box of donuts, oh yeah, and then cover up the logo. Because then now you're not promoting any other business. So it just doesn't make any sense. And I mean, if you look at it, Subway sells breakfast. If you guys didn't know that, Subway sells breakfast. It was that whole breakfast trend in 2014. Subway sold breakfast. Taco Bell sells breakfast. Who else? I think Chick-fil-A is probably starting to sell breakfast. I mean, what next? Like Pizza Hut and Little Caesars are going to start selling breakfast pizzas. Maybe KFC can get in the breakfast business, like you can have your breakfast fried chicken. But it just seems like it's kind of competing products. I mean, Dunkin' Donuts, they don't just sell donuts. Oh no, I went there on vacation. They sell like stuff you'd see at McDonald's. You know, they have the sandwiches, they have like I think they have burritos, they have, of course, your coffee. I mean, it's basically a competition to Subway. So, and that, under the guidelines, I guess for the contract, would be a breach of contract. You're advertising other products. Now, I mean, I don't totally blame Subway. I mean, now with Nature's Bakery, like, how is a protein supplement or whatever same as a Nature's Bakery bar? Like, how is that a valid argument? And the other thing is, they tried to control Danica Patrick into being a marketing machine. They probably just watched Danica Patrick's ads. They watch like the GoDaddy ads where she acts like an idiot or like a model. I should say that. But like she acts like a model and like tries to show off or whatever. That's probably what they did. When Danica Patrick, even though she's not a good racer, she's a NASCAR driver, and I think that's what Nature's Bakery, I guess, overlooked. They just saw a big name. Oh yeah, let's throw $30 million into it when we're a small company. And now Nature's Bakery is probably going to die off, even though I've started to see some of their products hit stores. But, I mean, it's kind of a breach of contract. I mean, most teams... Now, I watched this in a Road to the Race Day thing. There was, like, Chase Elliott was in the media center at Daytona, and they showed him going through, like, they have, like, the advertisement things. And I think there was something for Twitter, and, like, they had him with an iPhone. And I think the PR woman said that, oh, well, we might have issues with this because, you know, Chase Elliott's using an iPhone when, well, Hendrick Motorsports, if you don't know, has a partnership with Microsoft, and those are competing products. And then I think there was a second part where like the PR person was talking to some of the people, like saying, oh, Chase Elliott can't wear this hat, but the other one should be fine. So probably there was one sponsor that went against one of his, probably something like maybe 3M at the time. Like he couldn't wear a hat, or like if they had, if they had a monster